What's going on, everybody? This is Travis with River Ride Outdoors, and today we're going to be going over my Winter Steelhead gear for 2025. I'm going to land it on the line as far as like we're going to be doing a little spey dump here. Everything I use to chase winter steelhead, either in the boat or on the bank, it's like my essential gear that I use. So I'll kind of cover rods, reels, lines, and other gear that I find necessary to be out here in the cold, long days. Right now, it's pouring down rain. River levels are skyrocketing right now, so the river here is pretty almost unfishable right now. Otherwise, I'd be out here swinging away. So, but yeah, let's get into it. Let's start with the rods first and kind of go from there. All right, first things first, we're going to start off with my the Spey rod here that I'm going to be using this for the 2025 season. It's going to be a Sage R8 7130, which means it's a 7-weight, 13-foot rod. Spey rod. I just picked this up recently and have loved this rod so far. So that's going to be my #1 rod of choice for this 2025 season. I have that paired to a Hardy reel. It's a Marquez reel. I have a paw click reel. It's fun to fight fish on. It's a little more, makes them a little more of a challenging. You can sometimes get your butt kicked by wild, big winter steelhead with this reel, but it's challenging nevertheless. With the line to pair with the rod, I have Rio Skagit Max on here. It's 525. I found this the best line paired with this rod so far. I've tried numerous lines, and this line is just rocks. Every time I cast this rod with this Skagit setup, I just giggle because it launches line. It's pretty awesome. Sweet little stick. It's light in hand. From there, I always start out with normally T11. I'll use 10 feet of T11 every time I start fishing a run, unless I know the run really well, and it either T14 or a different sink tip. But the sink tip I normally start out with is a T11 of 10 feet of T11, and that's just a Rio sink tip. Links will be in the description below. You can check those out if you want. And then down to that, I have leader. I used to be a Maxima guy. Ultra Green Maxima is gold standard, pretty much 12 to 15 pound test. But I've actually recently switched to the Seaguar fluorocarbon, 15-pound Seaguar fluorocarbon. I've had good success with this. It's abrasion resistant. Seems to not show up as well in the water, but Maxima Ultra Green 2 is a pretty awesome line for leaders. And normally I'll run about either 3 to 4 feet off of my sink tip. Everything's going to be a loop-to-loop connection with this whole setup. It makes it easy. It's pouring down rain out here. It's cold for winter steelhead. You want the easiest setup as possible to get you fishing faster. You break off, you want to be able to retie and cast out there faster. And I can go into break down every inch of the Spey rod, but that'll be in a different video. All this gear that you're seeing right now, I'll leave a link in the description. You can check it out from there. So that's my first rod, and I always have a backup rod with me, whether I'm in the boat. Sometimes I'll pack 3-4 rods in the boat, Spey rods in the boat, just in case. You never know if your rod breaks or something happens. If you're fishing a different run, you want a different sink tip with a different fly. My backup Spey rod is going to be a buddy's letting me borrow this actually right now. It's going to be the G Loomis Asquith. It's a 7132, 7-weight, 13 feet. And this rod is so light in hand, it bombs line. It's super fun to cast, but this is gonna be my backup rod. Not a bad backup rod either. And I put my my Nautilus on it, heavier drag. And so far on this one, I've paired this with another 525 Rio pickpocket Skagit line on it. So it gets a little deeper, slows that fly down a little bit. I haven't really tinkered with it too much, but hopefully this winter, getting into the winter season, I'll be able to play with it a little bit more. And again, I always start out with the T11. Sometimes I'll switch up T8, T14 for sink tips. Normally standard is probably 10 feet to start out with. I'll run a 12.5 foot sink tip too, but for starters I always just run the T11 right off the bat. Those are my 2 rods I fish with, or going to be fishing with the most this winter. My first rod again is going to be the R8, and then my second backup rod is going to be the G Loomis Asquith. So we'll see how that goes. But let's go into the flies I use for chasing these winter fish. All right, next we have is you can't catch a fish without a fly. So next thing we have here is a box of flies. I normally carry light. There's only a certain amount of flies I use. In winter steelhead season, we're using heavy sink tips and big intruder style flies. So most of those colors are going to be black and blue, orange, red, black, all black. But here's some of them here. Give you a little rundown on that. All right, as you can tell, I mean, for the most part, these flies, I mean, I got a bunch of them in here. They're purple, pink, here's some red, all black, some signature intruders. And I was gonna do a video on different style flies and stuff to use for winter steelhead. But as you can see, a whole bunch of different colors. Got pinks, blacks, reds, blues. Blue's a big one. Yeah, these are my main confident flies that I have confidence in. These are my main confidence flies that catch fish for me anyway. Will they eat anything sometimes? Yeah, steelhead will eat anything sometimes, but these flies, for me, give me the most confidence in when I'm out there swinging in the wintertime and trying to hook up. So as you can see, a whole bunch of colors. Yeah. Again, when winter steelhead fishing, don't be afraid to go big. These fish are lethargic. They're less more active than summer steelhead. So you want a big profile to kind of agitate these fish and get them to bite. Figure if they become a little more finicky and it's low clear water, you can always downsize your presentation to like maybe a small Klamath intruder or a smaller profile. But for the most part during winter steelhead season, we're going big. Sometimes flashy, bright. The old additive is, they say, dark days, dark fly, bright days, bright fly. I don't know if that holds true. I've had success thinking that way. But in the end, it's going to be up to the fish and the fish to either crush it or not, or grab it out of curiosity, or just, you agitate the fish so much he's going to come up and grab it. So, but having a well-rounded fly selection is probably your best bet in hooking up. But again, have confidence in something. Confidence fly is everything. If you're swinging and you're like, I don't know if this fly is going to work, I don't know, you're not fishing confidently. You want a fly that you go, I've caught fish before on this, I know this is a proven winner, and you're going to be fishing all the way through like, come on, I know if something's there, it's going to grab it. So that's the best way to fish that I've found. If you're hesitant or not confident, your chances of hooking up go down, I think. But yeah, that's it with flies. Kind of do a little more in-depth. Again, you can always buy these at, go to your local fly shop. A lot of fly shops will carry the intruders and bigger style patterns for steelhead. So support your local fly shop too. That's always a good thing. Thereon, we're gonna go to the gear I use, weighting and all that stuff. So let's see. All right, to be out there in the winter steelhead fishing, to have the most confidence and be out here in order to succeed on hooking a winter steelhead, you have to grind it out. These fish are hard to come by. They're long days, cold days, wet days. Having the right appropriate gear to be out here and be able to brave the elements is absolutely necessary. You get cold, you get wet, waders leak. It makes for a horrible long day of grind. Normally, for my waders, I normally rock the Sims waders. I've rocked them for years and years. They've always been pretty good. Customer service has always been pretty awesome. A good wading belt. I carry a backup wading belt with me too, just in case somebody forgets one. Always have a backup wading belt. And for those sketchy spots, a wading staff. A wading staff comes in pretty handy in some sketchy spots we wade, especially during winter steelhead season. The last thing you want to do is fall in, ruin your day right there. So wading staff. I always carry pliers on me in case we hook a fish. I can cut line with this. I can get the hook out of a fish's mouth when we land a fish. Pliers are a good thing. And again, all the link in the description. There'll be a link in the description for all this stuff here too. One of my favorite wading jackets out here, Gore-Tex. It's the Sims Bulkley River. It's got a permaloft in it, keeps you pretty warm. Stays pretty dry during the Northwest rainy seasons. Sometimes it's good to carry an extra wading jacket. These are, it pours down all day, and sometimes even the Gore-Tex jackets don't hold up very long. So let's see, what else? I carry a bag for all my camera equipment when I film. I'll carry this around, the Sims bag. It's just a duffel, or just a little waterproof bag. Rolls up, pack it on my back, and off I go. So this thing's been very good bag for me. Carry everything in it when I'm just hiking, doing solo backpacking trip or something like that. Solo bank fishing. That bag's a must. Carries all my gear in it, coffee, all that stuff, and I'm able to set it down and then go swing when I want to. And here's another pro tip: always carry a extra layer of clothing too. If you fall in, you want something to be able to change out of, and always pack extra socks, pants, and a shirt. It's been known to save a day, a time or two. So. And finally, be patient when you're winter steelhead fishing. Is a grind. Once you feel that tug, everything heats up and you are in for the ride of your life. So have confidence out there and keep swinging. And all right, well, that's it for my 2025 winter steelhead Spey gear dump. Hopefully this helped you out, get you started out there. And like I said before, have confidence when you're out there swinging. It takes time, patience, and eventually you'll hook up. So if you like this kind of content, subscribe, share, leave a question. If you have a question down below, leave it, and let me know what your favorite rod, reel, and line setup for chasing these winter steelhead are. And remember to keep swinging, and we'll see you next time on River Ride Outdoors.